Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, chapter 8, text number 16 and 17. 16 I will read for myself. There is no purport. Mamugra dharma dakilat pramadam narayana patu narachasad dattatu ayoga atayoga natha payat guneshu kapilah karma bandhat. Translation. May Lord Narayana protect me from unnecessarily following false religious system and falling from my duties due to madness. May the Lord in his appearance as Nara protect me from unnecessary pride. May Lord Dattatreya, the master of mystic power, protect me from falling while performing bhakti yoga. And may Lord Kapila, the master of all good qualities, protect me from the material bondage of fruitive activity. Text 17. Sanat Kumaro Vatukamadeva Dhaya Shish Samam Pati Deva Elana Deva Rishivarya Purusha Archanantarad Kurmo Hari Imam Nirayada Sheshad. Translation and purport by Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. May Sanat Kumara protect me from lusty desires as I begin some auspicious activity. May Sanat Kumara protect me from lusty desires. As I begin some auspicious activity, may Lord Ayagriva protect me from being offended by neglecting to offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord. May Devarishi Narada protect me from committing offenses in the worshipping the deity. And may Lord Kurma, the tortoise, protect me from falling to the unlimited hellish planet. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Purport. Lusty desires are very strong in everyone, and they are the greatest impediment to the discharge of devotional service. Therefore, those who are very much influenced by lusty desire are advised to take shelter of Sanat Kumara, the great brahmachari devotee. Narada Muni, who is the guide for Archana, is the author of Narada Pancharatra, which prescribes the regulative principle for worshipping the deity. Everyone engaged in deity worship, whether at home or in the temple, should always seek the mercy of Devarishi Narada in order to avoid the 32 offenses while worshipping the deity. These offenses in deity worship are mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So in the earlier chapter we saw how Indra offended his spiritual master Brihaspati, and because of that Brihaspati left that place, and later on the demons, by worshipping their spiritual master Shukracharya, they pleased him and they won the battle against the demigod. So always we come across this, correct? Fight between demigod and the demons. Sometimes, most of the time, demigods are the winners. Sometimes they lose, like we saw in the last chapter. So they were all puzzled now what to do. They went to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma ordered them, you go to Vishwarupa and take a shelter. So Vishwarupa also, we read in the previous chapter about his wonderful qualities. He was a priest and guru. And here Vishwarupa is speaking this, he started speaking these words. So he is giving this narayana kavacha, shield, this mantra. So in this chapter, we'll keep on repeatedly reading that he is recommending to worship different forms of Narayana, Vishnu, different incarnation to get protected from various angles. Just like in the previous verse also we saw, it was said to get protected from water, from land, from sky. You worship Narasimha and different devata, lords are mentioned there. So here in today's verse, in the first verse we read, may Lord Narayana protect me from unnecessarily following false religious system and falling from my duties due to madness. So in fact, only Lord has to protect in all our activities, whatever we are doing. We may be very powerful, but unless Lord protects, we will fall down actually, even in spiritual life. So it is expected of us when we come in front of deity, in front of Srila Prabhupada, we should constantly pray for the protection, because they can only protect us. We may be very smart, we may be very knowledgeable, we may be very educated, we may be having a lot of intelligence. All these things are good, but we have to use properly in the service of the Lord. Otherwise, at any time, we can fall victim, we can be fall a victim of Maya. So like that, then it is mentioned, may Lord, in his appearance of Nara, protect me from unnecessary pride. This pride also, pride precedes fall down, Prabhupada says. So we should always be humble and meek. We should never become proud. Maybe we are doing some wonderful activities, big service, even for the service of Lord. But we should always be grounded. We should be humble. We should always be humble actually. Otherwise, pride which comes, then we will start acting not according to the direction of the Guru and the Shastra, which will lead to our fall down. Then it is mentioned, may Lord Dattatreya, the master of mystic power, protect me from falling while performing Bhakti Yoga. So we are all doing Bhakti Yoga, trying to do Bhakti Yoga. So we have to keep on praying. All this thing is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And may Lord Kapila, the master of all good qualities, protect me from the material bondage to fruity activities. So in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila Deva is instructing his mother Devahuti, there also chapter after chapter. So we have to always take shelter of this. And in second verse today, it is mentioned, may Sanat Kumara protect me from lusty desires. We are all in this material world because we have, all of us have lusty desires. Even the higher Devata, even Indra, he is not free from lusty desires. So lusty desires, that is, we want to enjoy independent of Krishna. That is as simple as this. Kama. Kama means we want to enjoy independent of Krishna. Opposite of Kama is Prema. We want to serve Krishna. We want to give pleasure to Krishna. By serving Krishna, by giving pleasure to Krishna, we will also be feeling that pleasure actually. That is the process of devotional service. So, it is mentioned in the fourth canto, in the Bhagavatam, which I read earlier, the 22nd chapter, Prithu Maharaj meeting with the four Kumaras. There in 3-4 purport, Prabhupada writes nicely. Prithu Maharaj was so advanced, self-realized, but still when he met the superior, actually he inquired from him. So this is the formula in devotional service. We may be advanced according to our own estimation, or whatever it is. We should always hear, we should surrender, we should inquire from the superior authorities, from the scriptures, that we should never give it up. So in one of the verse which is very connected with this, I'll just read a small purport also. Sanat Kumara continued, my dear king, is speaking to Prithu Maharaj, you already have inclination to glorify the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such attachment is very difficult to achieve. But when one has attained such unflinching faith in the Lord, it automatically cleanses lusty desire from the core of the heart. So the desire, this lusty desire to want to enjoy independently in different form, gross, subtle, it is in the core of our heart. So on our own we cannot do anything. So the process of devotional service, in this purport also Prabhupada writes. So this purport, by association with devotees, dirty things within the heart of a materialistic man are gradually washed away by the grace of the Supreme Personality of God. So association of devotees is very important. Sadhu Sangha, Satsanga. As silver becomes shiny by being polished. See, any silver material, over a period of time it becomes dirt. Dirt will get. So you just polish it, it becomes as good as new one. The heart of materialistic person is cleansed by lusty desire by good association of devotees. Then Prabhupada writes this very nice thing. Actually, the living entity has no connection with this material enjoyment. Soul is pure. We have no connection with material enjoyment nor lusty desire. He is simply imagining or dreaming while asleep. It's just a imagining. It's imagination. It's all in the mind. It's a mental concoction. So, but by the association of pure devotee, he is awakened, and immediately the spiritual soul is situated in his own glory by understanding his constitutional position as the eternal servant of the Lord. So this is our real position. What we are actually made of, constitutionally, we are all eternal servant of Lord. Jivere Swarupoi, Krishnera Nityadas. Eternally we are actually servant. We can never become master. That is our position. That is living entity's position. Prithu Maharaj was already self-realized soul. Therefore, he had natural inclination to glorify the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if somebody is self-realized, he has fully understood the science of Krishna consciousness, he always is engaged in chanting, glorifying, remembering. He is engaged in all the Navavidha Bhakti, Navavidha devotional service. And the Kumaras assured him that there was no chance of his falling victim to the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. So for the Kumara, they assure that he will never fall again victim of illusory energy. In other words, then Prabhupada concludes this, the process of hearing and chanting about the glories of the Lord is the only means to clarify the heart of material contamination. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevamanam, this Navavidha Bhakti. In the Bhagavatam also it is said, Shrinvata Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Ridhi Antastaya Badrani Vidanoti Susata. Shrinvata, we have to hear. We are in ignorance now. So we have to hear, and we have to hear from the right source, from the bona fide authority. So Shrinvata Swakata, Krishna own Kata, Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada explained, or about Krishna in the Bhagavatam, about Lord, different incarnation, about his devotees. Shrinvata Swakata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana. It is full of piety. Hriday Antastaya Badrani, again the same thing. The Hriday, our heart is full of dirty things right now. Hriday Antastaya Badrani, Vidunoti Susadam. Prabhupada translation nicely writes in the first canto, second chapter, 17th verse. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So, there's a very famous verse, we are all familiar with this. Prabhupada writes these 5 verses in these Jaladuta prayers also, starting from this verse, Shrinvata Swakata Krishna. This is the process actually of devotional service. So, Lord is seated in our heart and is a benefactor. He cleanses the desire of material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear. So, hearing from the pure devotee, hearing from sadhu, hearing from shastras, hearing from guru, sadhu, shastra, which cleanse our dirty things which is accumulated in our heart, which is seated in our core of our heart. Because we have been taking millions of births, here, life after life, we develop new and new, different and different vasanas, because according to our body. So all these things are seated in our heart. So the process of cleansing is very clearly mentioned. See, that's why you see Srila Prabhupada in our day-to-day practice, in our sadhana bhakti, in our Vaidhi bhakti, he has introduced this Srimad Bhagavatam. Daily we have to hear, we have to read, we have to associate. So Prabhupada has given all this very clearly to us. So if we follow this, if we have the Shraddha, if we follow this, all the impurities, all the dirt will be cleansed actually. So the process of hearing and chanting about the glories of the Lord is the only means to clarify the art of material contamination. Prabhupada uses the word clarify here. Correct? So we are all fortunate. Then Prabhupada concludes this purport. By the process of karma, jnana and yoga, no one will succeed in driving away the contamination from heart. See, most of the population, if at all somebody is interested in some spiritual activity, they will be mostly doing karma yoga or jnana yoga. They will be trying to understand all these things, correct? Or yoga, dhyana yoga. But once a person takes to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord by devotional service, this is again and again brought out in the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Only by bhakti, only by devotional service, we can be cleansed thoroughly actually. Otherwise, we may be doing something. Karma yoga is better actually, because there is connection. Prabhupada explains, correct? Karma is doing just activity for your own enjoyment. Yoga means there is some connect. Is the beginning of actually Bhakti Yoga. Prabhupada also explains. But the ultimate thing is we have to come to the platform of devotional service. Yoginam api sarvesham madgate antaratmanam shraddhavam bhajate yomam same yuktattamo mata. So Krishna in the last verse of the 6th chapter, 47th verse, he very clearly says, because in the earlier chapter he has spoken about karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga. The dhyana yoga is concluding. Dhyana yoga is concluding. Yoginam, of all types of yogi, what I had described, Arjuna, Bhakti yogi is the topmost. That is my opinion. So Krishna's opinion is the ultimate, is correct, is perfect. So that's how we understand. So, if you, but once a person takes to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord by devotional service, automatically all dirty things in the heart are removed without difficulty. You just imagine, we are all so fortunate. Before we came in touch with Krishna, we never have any, at least I didn't have any idea about, though we were chanting some slokas, some mantras, and we never knew all these things, correct? You come in touch with the devotee, they are practicing, they are teaching you the same thing. Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Ata Bhajana Kriya. Then you take to the process, automatically the dirty things are going away. Actually, otherwise it is not possible for us. See, early in the morning, Prabhupada explained in many places, he says, correct this in his lectures and all. In the morning we have Bhagavatam class. Hardly few people are here. Few devotees are attending. Most of the people are busy in their own activity. Correct? In the morning. But we want to spend some time for understanding all these things. About the glories of the Lord. About the glories of the devotees mentioned here. So like that. And because this Sangha is very important actually. That's why it is said, Asatsanga Tyaga e Vaishnava Achara. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, we should give up the association of Asatsanga. Sat is good association, spiritual association, Satsanga, Sadhu Sangha. Asatsanga is just the opposite. Asatsanga tyaga, we should give up. This is the behavior of a Vaishnava. Asatsanga tyaga. So, but when we are in Krishna conscious movement, we are all trying to go out and preach to young folk boys or to people, to meet them, to convince them to buy some literature or to get some contribution. So we are associating with the outside world, with the materialistic people, with the karmis. Prabhupada uses correct. We are associating. But we should be very careful. We should go and talk about Krishna Katha. If they talk about Gramya Katha, we should also not get engaged in that Gramya Katha and all actually. So that is very important. So we should give association to them, but we should not get associated from them. There are a few unfortunate cases. In fact, we have come across many devotees like that who have been practicing nicely, but somehow you have some attachment for somebody outside of ISKCON, or maybe devotee, like one kind of devotee, and they will be running into so many problems. Everybody is into so many problems today, correct? So when you go outside, they get the opportunity. You meet a sadhu, they want some blessing, they will pour out all their problems. So we should be smart enough to get away from all those things, or we should give some solution to all those people. So that is not our business. We should try to go and talk about Bhagavad Gita, tell about Bhagavad Gita, what is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavatam. So like that, we should try to give them benefit. So that is Satsanga. Because when we are supposed to preach, many of us would have been non-devotee like that. So by hearing, with having little faith and following the process, we have become a sort of devotee, correct now? So we should continue this, because that is very pleasing to Lord also. Just like Prabhupada gives the example, if there is an epidemic, we know 4 years before there was a COVID. When there was COVID, we were all very careful. People were wearing masks, we are not going out, not mingling with anybody. Because we have to be careful, otherwise we also get contaminated, correct? So it's like that. So we go out and give our philosophy of Krishna consciousness to others, rather than taking what they have to convey us actually. So this is also very important. So otherwise, like it is mentioned, these lusty desires are very strong in everyone, and they are the greatest impediment to the discharge of devotional service. In many places it is mentioned, Prabhupada quotes many verses actually. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada quotes this famous verse. Repeatedly he quotes, many places he quotes. Kamadinam katida katida palita durnidesha. This is a big verse. So the translation is, O my Lord, there is no limit to the unwanted orders of lusty desires. Actually, it is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. O my Lord, there is no limit to the unwanted orders of the lusty desire. Because lust is such a thing, Krishna also explains in the 3rd chapter. It can never be satisfied. You go on try to satisfy lust, it will go on increasing only. So, O my Lord, there is no limit to the unwanted orders of lusty desire. Although I have rendered them so much service, they have not shown any mercy to me. So you go on serving your desire, lusty desire, they will not show any mercy. I have not been ashamed to serve them, nor I have desired to give them up. See, this is how these acharyas, they all project that they are all well situated, just like in this earlier Prithu Maharaj also in that conversation in the chapter. He is very well situated, but he is telling how I can get away from this material existence. So Prabhupada in one of the purport he writes also, just like Arjuna. Arjuna was not, though he is asking some basic question like that, it's not that who can associate with Supreme Lord Krishna. He is a perfected devotee, but Lord covered his knowledge with internal energy. That's why he was asking some basic question, so that Krishna is able to speak for the benefit of the humanity, not for Arjuna. Similarly, Narada Muni also, when he approaches Brahma, he is asking. So, Brahma is speaking. So, here what happens, both the person who is speaking and both the person who is hearing, The same thing with Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva goes all throughout the Vedic literature, it is like that. Both the person who is doing Kirtana and who is doing Shravanam, both of them are benefited. And we have to keep on repeatedly hearing this. That's why it is said we have to read daily 1 hour, attend 1 hour class. So we have to repeatedly hear this thing. Then only it will become a reinforced. We'll act on that principle. Otherwise, theoretically, all of us, even a bhakta will be knowing before joining, correct? Some basic thing, we are not the body, we are spirit, soul, all this thing. But when we are put in a certain circumstances, how we deal, how we act, that is counter. For that, this practice is required. So this verse then it says, due to transcendental intelligence, I now refuse to obey the unwanted order of the desires, and I now come to you to surrender myself as a at your fearless Lord. Kindly engage me in your personal service and save me. See, the chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is also the same thing. We are praying to Lord and Lord's energy. We are chanting daily, day in, day out, 16 round minimum. Lord, please engage me in your service. That's all. Lord and your energy, please engage me in your service. I have been engaged in the service of Maya. See, there are no other options. Third option. You are engaged in the service of Krishna, or you are engaged in the service of Krishna's energy, illusory energy, Maya. So, better to engage in Krishna's service. So, like that in the Sishtashtaka also it is said, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patita Mam Vishme Bhambudo. See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is offering this. He is teaching this. Whole of Krishna conscious philosophy is there in that Sishtashtaka, correct? So in this 5th verse he is telling, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patita Mam Vishme Bhavambudo. O son of Maharaja Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet, somehow or other, I have fallen into the horrible ocean of birth and death. See, this material existence, repeatedly we are taking birth, we become old, we die, again take birth. This samsara goes on. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is offering this prayer. So like that, very interesting, there are many verses like this. The whole process of devotional service is, somehow or other we should be thoroughly absorbed, engaged in doing something or the other in one of the anga of devotional service. Chanting, hearing, remembering, worshipping, something. Otherwise, we'll always be under the clutches of the illusory energy. Prabhupada says, if you have nothing to do, keep chanting. Not that you have finished 16 round, you place the chanting bag in your room and next day only you go to. No, that's why you should always have chanting mala with you. Get an opportunity, keep chanting. Nothing is there. Sometimes you may not do in the middle of the day. Nothing will be working. Best is chant. Very simple. Correct? So these are some of the points actually. We are running out of time. I'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.